Greetings and welcome to the Modern Alchemist channel. I'm Aubrey Forrest, the Modern Alchemist, and this is Alchemy Journal. The other day I took a couple moments and I talked a little bit about blue sky and human consciousness. And I wanted to take a couple more minutes. We have another spectacular day outside. It's absolutely exquisite. And it's also an excellent example. A lot of times, people fail to recognize some of the more sinister aspects of the color blue. As I mentioned before, in terms of the consciousness of ancient Egypt, the color blue was associated with the god who was victorious over the other gods and asserted his dominance during what we now call daytime. Anciently, actually, you could say that we are benighted at this point because in the morning the other gods disappear and the truth of our reality relative to our composition and context in the universe is distorted as a result of the illumination of this star. So our ancestors understood this, and they typified the description of what this star does in many ways. But we also have to realize that our ancestors considered more than just the color of this star and its nature. They also considered the atmosphere that this star engenders. So let's think about this atmosphere for a moment. A lot of us think blue sky is associated with hope. And in fact, even in business, blue sky means that it's well-intentioned and that there's a lot of potential. Okay? The truth is, I suppose, that blue sky under a given context, for instance, following a horrible storm, is a sign of salvation because the torment of all that time is over. But now visualize it from the other perspective. What does blue sky mean if this is all you get to see throughout the entire growth season of your crop? As a farmer, this sky symbolizes death because it engenders drought, and drought will cause famine, illness, disease, and ultimately death. Drought will also bring with it war. So this sky represents everything to do with war, stress, and the darker aspects of our lives. Too much of this will destroy any crop. And as we know around our own country, and as we experienced in 2012 with that extraordinary drought, a persistent drought will have persistent effects on human consciousness. So when in fact does salvation come, and what is the shape and color of salvation? It's white. Because imagine a bunch of white fluffy clouds coming in across the horizon after 3 months of absolute no rain and this kind of heat. Watching all of your vegetables and everything just completely shrivel up. All of that hope completely destroyed by endless sunny days, right? So, not surprisingly then, everything in association with hope either sits on or is clad with or transported by a cloud, right? And clouds represent the conveyance of water and moisture. And water is always associated with time. So, more clouds and more water means you get more time on this earth. You won't starve, there will be no famine, and there will be no war, because everyone's going to be fed, there will be no resource management requirements, and everything will be fine. So this is another way to look at the world that is around you and realize that our ancestors were not the ease of life city dwellers that we enjoy today, where we look out from an air-conditioned home or an air-conditioned workplace or go shopping in an air-conditioned, climate-controlled shopping center. We fail to recognize the real, literal impact of a day like today until we're inconvenienced, perhaps on the commute home, where we're sitting inside of our air-conditioned car, hopefully, waiting for traffic to pick up. So, yet another thing to think about as you consider these sunny days. And consider also the color white, I mentioned, was a side to salvation. In the Egyptian pantheon, the goddess Isis is associated with white, as is the image of the goddess Nekhbet. So, as is Osiris, appropriately. And all of those are indications of spiritual salvation. The crown of Isis and or Osiris both are white. again in association with salvation, which is a component of release under the burden, the iron hand of this star, which has the potential to beat everything into submission. It is first a star which brings death, and then it brings life. Very much like we see in many of the legends, where things are ultimately changed, transmuted as a result of its course and conduct through the universe. All right, that's enough deep thinking for right now. Enjoy the sun today, if it's sunny out where you're at, and stay cool, and keep your mind open. Remember, if you need to think about what nothing looks like, if you need an idea of meditating on the concept of nothingness, you need only look into a sky like this that is populated with absolutely nothing, and you have a firm foundation upon which to reside in your meditative pursuits. That's about all I have for you today. I'll talk to you later. Take care, Alchemists. I'm Aubrey Forrest, the Modern Alchemist, and this is the Modern Alchemist channel, Alchemy Journal, signing out.